back for another Fun Day Sunday. We are going to analyze some games, play some viewers, and look at some of the tactics that were in some of these games that were both missed and played. And so it'll definitely be a lot of fun. Let's see. But the first game was actually played by a friend of mine, Think Culture here. And as you can see, he's about 1800, and his game was really, really, really good. There were so many nice nuances in the game, and it was just a really nice win. I just wanted to show it off. Um, but moving along, but moving into it, he was basically playing in London, and with that, we had almost a typical mainline setup with C5, D5, D6, knight to F6, and the knight to C6. Not that. Uh, with pretty much the typical setup, typically in a setup like this, you could actually play bishop here, and you can play here. Then you can take, and you can end up actually with the knight here, taking, bringing the bishop here. So if we look at it, typically they'll do something like this. We can actually go here, or I'm sorry, let's go back. So here, play here, and a lot of times they'll defend this. If they do something like this, we can go. I'm sorry. We can add more pressure. A lot of times they'll do this. We do this. Um, this, and then we can do something like this and just pick up the extra piece. Or I'm sorry, not pick up an extra piece, but just make a nice little trade. Keep this piece pinned, maybe win this. I mean, there's a lot of little nuances in it. There's also some more traps with the main line, but forget most of them. I'd have to go back and look at all of them. But yeah, there's some fun ones with it. But what ended up transpiring in the game was he played bishop here, and after this push, now this move is even stronger. This, and you'll see where my friend ended up playing this, attacking it. And truthfully, the bishop really should have come here to unpin this, but he went there. And after a move like this, just take it. He ends up playing that. And what you take, now you've got this. And the queen is actually trapped. Queen has nowhere to go. Queen goes back, knight takes. Queen goes here. We come back, having the pin. If the queen goes here, knight takes. And queen goes here, knight and bishop both can take. So, had he have taken this like this, he would have won the queen. But unfortunately, my friend missed it, and when we were analyzing the game, I had already spotted knight takes to just go ahead and take it. Mostly because I play the London so much that in a position like this, I already know I'm just going to take. I'm not even going to think about it. I'm just going to take because, I already know this is hitting. And if it's not outright trapping it, it's definitely going to definitely work in my favor because he's going to have to move it. And I just got a piece basically for free. Because, I mean, let's face it, because if he takes back, we take here, and then if he takes here, we get check, and now, after he moves, now we can move this to safety. And we've given up you know, maybe a piece for two, include which one of them being the queen, which is one of the main pieces that we want to take. So we're actually in much better shape here than they are. Um, but again, unfortunately, my friend missed it and ended up taking the pawn. And I was actually worried that opponent would probably should have played rook, which I don't see how he would have been able to stop it. But I mean, as far as the threat of trapping the queen, because the queen won't really have anywhere to go. I mean, if he plays this, I guess we got this to do this and protect, and I guess that's the little counter attack. But I mean, after taking, our queen is pretty much trapped, and we're forced to, you know, if they do this, then we do this. But then we can do something like this. So I mean, I guess in a way it can work, but it's not a position that you really want to be in when you're going for just a pawn. But but he didn't. He ended up coming here, which even in this position, I still think you just take. Just take. And the reason for it is because if he takes back, you're looking at this. You're also looking at this, and yeah, I mean, it really just runs into a big trade, but there's a lot to it. I think the position for white would be a little bit easier to play with pieces being more, a little bit more developed. I mean, this has got to come into play, but you know, I think it'd be a little bit easier. But he played that, so he comes back, reapplying the pressure. He goes to head castles, and now he takes. I really think he should have taken with the knight first, but and so now my friend ends up losing a pawn here. But it really just evens out because he was already up a pawn, and so now he's back even again. But the really nice part of the game was actually getting ready to come up with the way he played it. I mean, it was just it just had a brilliance to it. And something I saw was after so he takes that and then he just starts pushing, and this was just a masterpiece because this pawn really can't be stopped too easily. It's really difficult to actually stop this pawn running. You've got all these pieces here to protect it, and right now there's not too much that can really stop it, and now the queen and rook are behind it, and he just kept it running just like he should. And something I saw here was after this to let him take, and the reason for it is take. If he takes, you take. So with it being black's move, let him take. You take with check. Once he takes, you take this way, opening this up, and you can actually even, if he took back, take here, take, and you can get this, and you can actually just basically collect free pieces. Something that I was looking at that unfortunately didn't get played, because what I was looking at was just, you know, if he took, you know, you get the queen, he's got to tick back. You can even Yes, yes, J-Track. More learning. Here we go. We're gonna have another nice fun stream. And you know, once he takes, then which he's somewhat forced to, we can actually take here and keeping it pinned. And the whole thing is, so we know that he's not going to take back. After this and this, we know he's not going to take here because it's mate. So let's assume he does something, his best move would be to do this. But we can actually give ourselves this, and now this really has nowhere. The problem with it is if he does this, we would actually be forced to do this so that he takes back, and then we get this, and we don't have to worry about it, and this is hanging. But so that was one idea that I was looking at. The other one was knight here and here, which actually does get played. But while I was thinking to come here, the better move is actually to come up here. But first we do that, and now we do this. And then after that, the king saw it because, let's say he does something random. We can come here, and we get the nice little fork. Which was the whole point of going there. But of course black saw it, moved over. But he goes there anyway. And actually, if I remember correctly, I think the engine said this was the better move. But this pawn is still almost impossible to stop. And once he moves over, he just went ahead and took. Now, at first sight, it looks like this pawn is free. Or, I'm sorry, is defended. But it's actually hanging through tactics. So, if we go forward, you'll see that it was actually a free pawn. Because once he takes, he moves over. Now, I think the better move was not that rook, but I think this rook was a better choice. You're leaving these two doubled up, and you're bringing this one more into the game, where it was defending a pawn that's already defended by this. So, didn't really make much sense. And this pawn is defended by this, so it's not like he's going to take to be able to bring that down. So I think this was the better move, which now he can't move this because it's pinned to the checkmate. And now you can get this. And after that, you've got all of this. Well, takes first and then, so queen, chances are if he takes it back this way, then you get the mate. Or, I'm sorry, not mate, because this is actually still protecting it, but it gets really, really, really tricky. Really, really, really quick. But he ended up playing this rook. And as you can see, we want to bring the queen here, abandon this pawn to a certain extent, and just get this up to the 7th rank and threaten mate. And his opponent actually ends up helping him by pushing this. By pushing it, now bringing it up, we really are threatening mate. And again, he brought this up, threatening this, which we already wanted to move. Again, helping us out. So now we're on the 7th rank, looking at this, and there's only one thing that stops it, and that's this sad move. And after that sad move, we get another queen. And this is where the opponent resigned. And the reason for it is because the only way to stop this queen is by giving up your own queen. And then coming up like this. That's the only thing that stops the checkmate. And it was just just a brilliant game that was played by a friend of mine, and it was really, really, really cool to see. This was me on one of my other accounts on chess.com. I've pretty much been using the second account just to learn like new openings and try to practice them and just try to like commit some of the moves to memory, so I don't have to think about them. I can just I can just play them. And one of the openings I've been trying to learn is the Ponziani opening. It just seems like a really fun one, but my opponent here didn't really go into it. He ended up just playing really, really, really passive. Uh, and a lot of times, if somebody is playing really, really, really passive, you tend to want to play really aggressive. And there were some really good um, things about this game that was really fun to look at. And so you'll see some really cool things with this one. I mean, it was just a nice little positional game, and I went ahead and gave up castling rights, which was fine. Um, it did get really, really, really dicey for me, and the game became very sharp very fast. For those that don't know, if somebody says it's going to be a sharp game, that means that the game itself is going to end one of two ways. Either you're going to win or you're going to lose. There tends to not be any draws, and it is a very decisive game one way or the other. Either it's a win or a loss. So if they say it's going to be sharp, that's what they're referring to, is that it's going to have a winner and a loser. There's no potential for a draw. It's just is what it is. And this one got really sharp, really, really, really fast. And it was really impressive to see some of the battles in it. Because I mean, like this right here, a king's under attack. I'm having to run. I'm being just put in a corner and not really being let out. And so it was definitely not a place that I wanted to be. And now you see him aiming here and trying to come at it, but I mean right now it's defended. And after this, it's like, okay, what can I do? And so something I saw was attack that, make him move, and now push up here to basically not allow these trades, because our king is in a very, very bad spot. We do not want this area opening up. If this opens up, we are screwed. Like, just 100% totally screwed. And we don't want that. So we're going to try to close it off as best as possible. But at the same time, we also want to somewhat open it just enough to give us some attacking chances as well. But like I said, it becomes very sharp very fast. And so with this, as you can see, he's got 2 pieces on it, and I've got 2 pieces on it. But he's also got a piece on this. So when he takes and I take, now he takes back. Now he's looking at this. It's undefended. But there's some really cool tactics here. And I want to ask you guys a question. And that question is, how can we defend that bishop through tactics? What can we do? Where can we find the counterplay to defend this bishop? Is there a way that we can do it? The answer is yes, we can do it. And now I want to ask you guys, what's the combination of moves that will defend that bishop and not let it sit there hanging? Because there is a way to save it, and there's actually a way to gain material. And so I encourage my viewers to try to find that move. If you're going to watch this on YouTube later, pause the video, and find the winning combination of moves to win the bishop. Okay, so moving forward, the way to do it is to counterattack with the rook attacking the queen. That's step one. And we know that the queen is going to want to come here to get off the file of the rook and defend this bishop because he doesn't want to lose it for free. So the next move is after he plays that, to bring the rook here, attacking the queen again, protecting it with this. And so now, if he moves away, we get this. If he, if he decides to take, we take back, and then he can take here, and we get a queen for a rook and a bishop. And that would be a success for us. That would be a huge, huge, huge success. But he ends up moving away. So we go ahead and we take it, and of course we take it with check. And he comes down. Now he's got, again, two people attacking this, but we also have two defenders. So it doesn't make sense to take. But what we can do is double up our rooks, and you always want to double up the rooks. Anytime that you have an open file and you're controlling that file, double those rooks, baby. Double them up. Double up on the bubble up. And that's exactly what I did. And now we get some really cool tactics. So he moves there. And now I didn't see it soon enough, but really we just have this. And now regardless of what he does, it's if he goes here, we just take, and it's mate. Nothing he can do. We had it there, but believe it or not, I actually didn't play it so soon. Or did I? Oh, I did. I thought I did another move first, but okay. But he ended up mating himself even quicker because he wasn't really supposed to take. He was supposed to just give it up for free, but he took, and after taking, we took back, and now it's a forced mate regardless of what he does. And he actually made the worst mistake by pushing down, which, I will admit I did not see that it was checkmate, but I knew that if I checked, bad things were going to happen, and that if there was a move, pieces were going to start falling, and it wasn't going to be very pretty. So it was definitely a fun one. And this one was just a really short miniature that I was playing a new opening again. This one was not the the Ponziani. I think it was, I forget what I was trying to play in this one. But I went. I was playing against a Sicilian. They started off with a Sicilian, which is after E4 they play C5. Right here, C5, which that is the start of the Sicilian, and there's so many variations of it. You have the dragon, the accelerated dragon. You have the closed. You have the open. You have the Taimanov. The Alapin. You name it. There's a variation of the Sicilian out there. And so typically in a Sicilian, so I was trying to play somewhat of a Ponziani, but I realized here that I was attacking, but I ended up making a blunder, and then my opponent made a blunder. So I moved here, and I'll give you guys a second to figure out why this is a blunder. Alright, so the reason why it's a blunder is it's just free. I just gave away my knight for free. And the reason for it is I was thinking, okay, I'll unpin my queen. If he takes, I can take here, but I forgot that the knight was controlling this, so it was just completely 100% free. But again, most low-level rated players are going to see, oh, well, the queen's unpinned. Let's take the queen, which is exactly what this fruitcake did. He took my damn queen. That fruitcake. Now, I want you guys to look at this and see why that move was a blunder. And I'll give you a chance to find the move. White to move and win the game in one. And the move is simply checkmate, bishop takes f7. Knight controls bishop, knight controls the only retreating square. So after I blundered my knight, he made a far worse blunder by plundering the game and taking the queen. So it's like, yeah, I hung my queen, but that part was calculated. The miscalculation was hanging the knight for free that luckily this fruitcake didn't take. And then I'm trying to remember some of these games, but there were a couple that were just very positional that I ended up playing. This one was, I was trying to play an England Gambit where the typical moves are something like this. And we get this. This is the line I was going for, but it actually ended up getting stopped. So going forward, you know, you'll see it. As he plays this, which defends this, so makes it rather useless. So I didn't even worry about pushing this up yet. I just went ahead and developed my pieces. Now I'll go ahead and I push it just because I want to go ahead and get my pieces out. And so this move was actually a blunder. And I didn't see it in the game, but the move is actually queen here. And the reason why it was a blunder is because the most natural looking moves end up being the biggest blunders of all. Because you are instinctively going to just fall back so you don't lose it. Which, this is not a blunder. You know, it's basically the only thing you can really do. Because if the queen blocks, you go here. This blocks, well, you still come here. Or, I'm sorry. If the queen blocks, you're just going to take the knight. So, I mean, regardless, you know, this piece has to move or it's dead. So he goes back. Now, the really cool part is coming here. Because you know the queen's not going to come down and block. I mean, shit, we just take it for free. So that doesn't make sense. And moving this here doesn't defend this. It defends a check, but we're still getting it for free. Well, I'm sorry, not really for free, but we get a pawn for free. And then, you know, so you figure take. Now we come here, and we're attacking this. And if this, then we can do something else. You know, so I mean, a natural move would not be that. But most people would think to just move this. Now I've got 2 defenders against 2 attackers. But that would be a blunder in this game. And I want to see if my viewers can find that blunder. Because it's a really big blunder. And the move is simply bishop takes f2, checkmate. Knight controls it, controls this. There's no escape square. It's just game over. It was a missed opportunity with that check. But it's definitely in the old noggin for the next time I play the England Gambit and Fruitcake plays that knight to b5 move, which I've actually never had them play before, so it was new. But we'll definitely remember it for next time. Because right now, I mean, he's got 2 on it, so I mean, Takes. You know, so he was trying to add a third one so that he could win that pawn for free. Um, but you know, he took, and then I moved over so that he wasn't looking at the rook anymore, and keeping it somewhat pinned. So he moves. I go ahead and I trade, and uh, the game resulted in an amazing finish because I had all the space in the world to be able to develop my bishop. Rook's developed. Knights are in the center of the board. I mean, these knights are just beautiful. They're in the center. They can't be removed. Because the only way to remove this knight is to push this pawn. This pawn is the only thing able to remove this knight, but it's blocked by this knight. So this knight is just beautiful right here. Can't be removed. This white bishop can't get out. And this knight is just having free reign. My rook is developed. My bishop can come here or here at some point. You know, these two squares are beautiful for the bishop. I mean, it's just, you know, and then trying to be able to swing this out onto the open file here. I mean, everything is just looking so juicy. And so I played this move, attacking both this and this. And I will admit that I didn't see that this was a completely winning move. But Black has mate in one in this position. If actually, Black just has mate in one. There's not much of a way to really. Oh, I'm sorry. The only way to stop it is knight plays here to defend the pawn, because this is a mate, and my opponent just threatens my knight, which, you know, just forces me to say, okay, you want me to move. Well, I wanted to take the pawn anyway and put you in check so I could get this bishop, but you're checkmated because you can't go here because of this and this knight, and you're just so closed off. I mean, it was just a work of art. This game was just a brilliant work of art with the knights. I mean, they just coordinated so well in this game that especially with him closing everything off and just playing so bottlenecked, it just ended up being so beautiful. And this game had a lot of ups and downs where both of us just missed a lot of tactics, uh, mostly by me. But there were definitely some things. Now, typically, I play my bishop out here, and I ended up instinctively just pushing this pawn and trapping it in by mistake. Playing I can't remember if I think I was attempting to play a Black Lion defense, which I don't get a chance to really play that often, and most people don't go in to allow me to play it. And so I end up having to change my idea. But the Black Lion is typically this, usually this. Then you usually play this, and this. But usually, once your knight is here and here, you have this and this pushed, this and this, and then you can get your knight behind it and come out this way. So, like I said, this, typically this. As you can see, this, and then you swing here with this, and then bring the knight up behind it. And then you can bring the queen here. If you need to castle queenside, you can, but you're already storming the king and having a ferocious attack on that side. And they typically end up castling into it, which is why it's so deadly. But I don't even think we really got it. I started it, but we really didn't have that kind of position. And so it just ended up being somewhat positional for the most part. But I went ahead and castle queenside. Mostly because with this pawn structure, because this and this are already pushed, I don't have to worry about him shoving them down my throat because they're going to take too long to get there. Um, so I can actually play a little more aggressive on the king side, and I don't even have to worry too much about my queen side getting attacked because it'll take a lot longer to get to me. And so as you can see that he was already starting, but it was already taking too long. And so I was just defending everything and already starting to attack myself. And not worried about this. It's defended by this, you know, but this was definitely attacking both, which is why I moved the queen. Um, I mean, I could have gone here, but then he could kind of sack here and open me up. I mean, he could still do it, but I just felt putting the queen here would be more active, especially if this opens up. I can get a little more counterplay on it. But my opponent was smart and actually just pushed past everything and just played really, really, really closed. And so I went ahead and started to trade a little bit, and you know, then I closed off everything as well, and ended up trading off the queens and just making it a very, very closed, very positional game. And as you can see, yeah, he's got a knight and a bishop, and this knight is so good in this type of game because it's closed. And I don't have a knight, but at the same time, the position could open up, and once it does, these bishops are going to be a lot stronger than this knight. But right now, that knight is way better than both of these bishops. And so right now, I'm just kind of more or less playing some waiting moves, but